Greetings everyone, and a beautiful day it is at Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills Memorial Park. We are in the Sunward section. It's in the back of the cemetery premises. It's a new section, and we're going to talk about the life and career of Rev John Fullerton MacArthur, who died a year ago. Unfortunately, his Find a Grave page has his burial site in another part of the cemetery. So if you go to his Find a Grave page, don't pay any attention to the coordinates there. They're mistaken. This is where he is in the Sunward section. There's this bench right here, which is right in front of his grave. Reverend John was born June 19th, 1939 in Los Angeles. He was a fifth generation minister, I understand, and he's distantly related to the famed five-star World War II General Douglas MacArthur, who led us to victory in World War II. There is a relationship there somewhere. Reverend John published the MacArthur Study Bible in 1997 with 20,000 notes on specific verses. Now, study Bibles are, they're a good thing to have, especially if you're a new student to the Bible and you're getting used to it, because the Bible's a big book. Yeah, you may want to have a guide like that to help you. John regularly sparked controversy with other Christians, especially about the gifts of the Holy Spirit and modern day miracles. We're going to get into that later, because John was what we call a cessationist. He believed that giftings of the Holy Spirit stopped when the apostles died, and that is absolutely not true. I am not a cessationist like John is. He believed that these gifts ceased. I am a continuationist. I believe that they're still here, because the Holy Spirit doesn't change. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But like I say, we're going to get into that. John MacArthur did a lot of good. His church, took over his church, I believe it was in 1971. It increased in size several times over. He got his Grace to You radio broadcast going. I used to listen to that thing back in the mid to late 80s. It was interesting. He was the chancellor of the Master's Seminary over there at his church. And of course, his study Bible has sold many copies. He died July 14th, 2025 at the age of 86. Survived by his wife, Patricia, their children, and 15 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. So, as far as teaching the Word, I thought John was good. There were things he said I definitely didn't agree with. Once saved, always saved. No matter what is an erroneous doctrine. It is not true. I'm not going to go into that, but what I do want to go into is the way he spoke of believers who disagreed with his cessationist philosophy. Derek Prince, who I've always liked and followed, he once said this: "We are warned by Jesus himself to be very, very careful how we speak about the Holy Spirit and how we represent the Holy Spirit." Jesus, I think it was in Matthew 12, used the word blasphemy, which means to speak dismissively of sacred things. So when you speak lightly about the Holy Spirit, or dismissively, or even call the working of demons, you are extremely close to blaspheming. Like it or not, that's essentially what John and his followers have done. He's called the charismatic move a farce and a scam that's never produced anything good. And he called for a collective war against charismatics. Now, those of us who believe in the gifting of the Holy Spirit and who love Jesus, we tend to swallow very hard at a statement like that, of being declared war against. And I mean, there have been a number of scholars, textual scholars, and social do-gooders that have been charismatic and Pentecostal. Dr. Gordon Fee is a New Testament textual scholar. He has a highly lauded commentary on the New Testament. N.T. Wright, author of dozens of books. R.T. Kendall, who John himself admires. I mean, R.T. Kendall is, tied to the charismatic movement. John said that there's zero connection to social services and poverty relief among Pentecostals. Absolutely not true. David Wilkerson of Teen Challenge, does he need any introduction? I mean, his program, David died many years ago, but his program has always been highly recommended by the United States court systems for people in need of rehab. Convoy of Hope, Operation Blessing, founded by Pat Robertson. Corrie ten Boom. Now, she was a Reformed Calvinist, but she was quite involved in the charismatic movement. I think it's wrong to tie or to say that the charismatic Pentecostal movement is demonic simply because some of their founders and leaders were corrupt. Yeah, I mean, Luther was corrupt. He had his issues. John Calvin. Boy, you should read some history on John Calvin. It's extremely disturbing. John Calvin over in where was he? I think it was in Switzerland. He enforced capital punishment for almost anyone. Children under John Calvin were whipped and hanged simply for insulting their mothers. John Calvin also regulated the number of dishes you could hold at a table. He dictated women's hairstyles. He punished card game players with heavy fines. John Calvin was no prince, and yet John MacArthur is a big believer in much of Calvinism. I don't think he's a 5-point Calvinist, but he regards John Calvin very, very highly. Luther, what about Martin Luther? Some of the things he said, I cannot repeat here on YouTube. I will get censored, but he was highly anti-Semitic. The point is, you can't condemn a movement just because some of their leaders are corrupt. Now, I recommend this book here. Let me give you a close-up of it. Michael Brown's book, Authentic Fire. It's an answer to John MacArthur's Strange Fire Conference. Now, yes, some of you may say, well, Michael Brown has his issues too. Yeah, I know. In fact, it wasn't very long ago that Michael Brown was found to be touching women in a somewhat inappropriate way, which Michael Brown didn't deny. But, it doesn't mean that the things he wrote in his book are wrong. I believe that, read the book. Get the book and read it. I think it's a very thorough refutation of John MacArthur's Strange Fire Conference. Now, I brought along another book, The City of God by St. Augustine. I actually had the chutzpah to read this thing. And let me get the camera over here. St. Augustine, who lived more than 300 years after the apostles died, he actually saw miracles. In the city of Milan, he saw a blind man receive his sight. In Carthage, he saw a man named Innocentius healed of a fistula in the intestines with no physician touching him. In Carthage, a woman named Innocentia was prayed for and healed of breast cancer. In Corba, in Tunisia, Africa, an old comedian was healed of paralysis and hernia while in the baptism tank. Augustine himself saw miracles. I mean, it's pretty old, but I wouldn't call Augustine a liar. I mean, he said that he saw what he saw. Many miracles today have happened. In Africa, people have been raised from the dead. If you don't believe me, Google the story of Pastor Daniel Eckechukwu. I will put the spelling of that in the description. He rose from the dead after 42 hours. Yeah, he was dead. He was in the morgue, and he was full of formaldehyde. Some of you are saying, "Nah, it didn't." Yeah, it happened. It happened. There were eyewitnesses. Folks, miracles didn't cease with the time of the apostles. So as much as I respect John MacArthur, I think he did a great job in educating people in the Bible. He was wrong about some things. So let's take a walk to his grave. I don't know if this bench is dedicated to him. I'm assuming it is. If it is, there's no name here. But this is the wonderful and John MacArthur, who I disagree with in some things, but that's him. I already put a stone on his grave. Rest in peace, Rev John. Here lie the mortal remains of the beloved and faithful servant of the immortal God who preached Christ in season and out of season, even unto death. Be faithful, his final exhortation. Quoting 2 Timothy 4, 7 through 8, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the course, I have kept the faith. In the future there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day, and not only to me, but also to those who love his appearing. I look forward to meeting Reverend John in heaven. I've never met him in person, never been to his church. But none of my criticisms have anything to do with him being anything other than he was. He was a minister of the truth, even though there was mixture in his teaching as far as once saved, always saved, or the gifts of the Holy Spirit are not for today. Hey, we can disagree, and we should be able to as Christians without condemnation. So no, I personally believe John is in heaven. I can't imagine him being anywhere else. So rest in peace, Reverend John. And may God comfort your family.